many people have been to France before? Beautiful place. How many people have heard the fact that French people cannot stand Americans? Okay? It's a fallacy. I'm an American. I was born here. I had a great time in France. Okay? I walked around. I had my little Berlitz tapes. For those that might know the Berlitz tapes, and I'm dating myself with that. That's the old version of the Rosetta Stone. I had that I had a little Walkman in my pocket, and I had a little dictionary. And I put together little sentences. And I remember walking up by the Louvre to somebody and asking, like, quelle distance la métro? And the guy said, would English be easier? I'm like, yeah. But the whole point was that I made that step forward. It's the same thing when you're selling. It's the same thing when you're on a date. It's the same thing when you're talking to your children. So how do we detect what their language is? There's 3 aspects. That little triangle that you have on the top of the page. First aspect is the personality. Who we are, what we do. Second one is our physiology. And the third one is our phraseology. So in other words, it's who we are, how we say things, and what we're saying. So let's start off with personality. How many have one? Oh, come on, 100% of the people in the room, come on. Everybody has a personality, and every personality is separate and distinct. However, it's important to also know who we are, where we are, and when we're presenting, what audience we're speaking to, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's in a large crowd. Have you ever walked into a restaurant and the waiter looked like they were carrying the weight of the world on their shoulder? And they were almost like a nasty. That's happened to me a lot. And I started thinking maybe it was about me, but then I realized it was a waiter. So I looked at the waiter one day. There was this restaurant, one of my favorite places. I've known the guy forever. The place was packed, jam-packed. And the guy, the owner, was running from table to table to table. And I could feel the tension. He just walked over, and I smiled at him, and I said, Mike, busy here today, isn't it? And I was silent, and I said, you could see the shift in his body. Just that quick acknowledgement made all the difference in the world. And the room became completely different after that. So when my friend said to me, what did you do? I said, I just let him know that it's okay, and that he's okay, and just helped him break the tension a little bit. So that's a little trick that you can do in any situation. Always bringing up the smile brings up the levity. So I want to share a quick story about the power of words, because words can manifest. I don't know if some of you heard me just say a few minutes ago to be gentle with me because I've got plates in the arm. So 1998, I worked at the Games for the Physically Challenged, volunteered there in the medical team in New York. And I was having, in my chiropractic practice, I was having some challenges with staff. And it was the last day, and I told one of my friends, I was just really charged, and I said, God, I need a break. 4 days later, I was in a head-on collision. 2 broken bones. 2 plates, a dozen screws, 3 broken fingers. Okay? That being said, the other part of that was the fact that after that accident, I get to the hospital, and the surgeon picks up my x-rays and goes, it's a clean break. 4 months later, I was living in Arizona. Now, mind you, my accident, I was traveling west in my Pathfinder. And I was about to make a turn into the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got hit head on by a U-Haul that was registered in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the power of words in our life. So be in tune to what you say. Pay attention to your words. Pay attention to who you are. Pay attention to how you're expressing yourself. Because when you align your intention with your expression, that's when you can create magic. That's when the magic happens. You know, when I work with my clients, I teach them how to be kinder to themselves on all levels. Those same words we were talking about earlier on can create health or sickness in our life. Those same words can create love or hate in our life. Those same words can either help us close a deal or lose a deal. Words can either make us or break us. Has anyone ever been like me and like got up in the morning, looked in the mirror, and like started looking for things that don't look good, and like, this is not happening today, and I just want to start my day over, and you know, I got a little line over here, and you know, and you know, these pants are a little tight. Never, right? Never, ever, ever. Here's the deal. We're all human. And sometimes we may not like the way we look. And sometimes we may not look great when we wake up in the morning. However, beating ourselves up on it gives a message to our subconscious mind and will affect the way that we continue to think about ourselves. It will affect our confidence, our self-esteem, our self-value, our self-worth, our self-respect, and the way we show up in the world. So the first and most important thing is to be kind to yourself with the way you speak. In the same way that you look in the mirror, life is a mirror. So the way you treat yourself, other people will treat you the same way. If you find a situation where you've not been kind to yourself, you'll also start noticing that other people are saying the same thing to you. Change your language, change your life. Change the way you speak to yourself. You will change the way other people speak to you. Change the way you treat yourself. You'll change the way other people treat you. James, pleasure meeting you. Thank you for standing up. Okay, stand up, stand up. Did you see this? Now put a table underneath that. Handshakes were derived from arm wrestling. When we were in this equal position, that means we are not opponents, we are equal. Now?
I know better.
Don't, I got plates in the arm. Now, and so when somebody comes in with a handshake and they come in this way, what that means is they want to control you. When somebody comes in with their hand under, especially if you're in an interview, here's a recommendation. Note for anyone who interviews. Put your hand not completely under being submissive, but slightly. Just stand up for me. Slightly under, so he has a little bit of the upper hand. Okay, so just going to tell you, no, I won't flinch because of the fact that I was in the Israeli army and I know Krav Maga, so you might want to sit.
I'm a little nervous right now.
So you might want to sit.